My mic on. Always forget to put my mic on. Every morning, always forget to put my mic on. But are we ready? Are we ready yet to proceed? I think we're all over the cup, right? All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll just ease on into it. Okay. Okay. We'll just ease on into it. The cup still didn't mean that much to me, to be honest. Sorry. Good morning, 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 good morning. How are we doing this morning? It is Monday, the 6th of April. This year is flying by, isn't it? This year is flying by as we approach the business end of the season. So we've got the internationals out the way. We've got that wretched FA Cup out the way, you know, the one that we didn't want and we're not bothered by, right? We're not bothered, are we? We're not really bothered. Okay, we're bothered. Some of us are bothered. I understand that. The feedback I've been getting over the last few days, 2 days, has been pretty strong. Pretty darn strong, I have to say. There's been some opinions. We're going to get into those today. But first, before we continue, I'd like to say good morning to you all. Good morning to those that are in the chat. Not yet. And my name is Edwin Ash. And this is the Big Arsenal Breakfast Show. And we are live. We are live. Before we get going, I would like to ask you, if you don't mind, to lizzle and subscrizzle, please. Lizzle and subscrizzle really helps the show. Like and subscribe, gets us out there. More gunners, more people involved. That's the point of this platform, is to get more gunners involved so you can have your say about the Arsenal. If you wake up in the mornings and you're thinking to yourself, I've got to get it out, man. I've got to get it out. I've been thinking about this all night. I've been thinking, was Shamak the most underrated player at Arsenal? I've got to have a place to say that. This is your place. This is your place. I mean, you can have other spicier takes if you like, but if that's your take, then that's your take. We can do it. This is the place to do it. And you can get in contact with us on all the socials as well, at Big Ass Breakfast on TikTok, at Big Ass Breakfast on Insta, at Big Ass Brecky on X. We are on Blue Sky, but I took that off because no one seems to be interested in Blue Sky. And Lizzle and Subscrizzle. You can also email us if you like. Some people do email. Excuse me. Some people do email show at bigarsenalbreakfast.com. That's show at bigarsenalbreakfast.com. And yeah, get on over to those. Except for TikTok, I should say, I think we're now in like day 11 of being banned on TikTok. We're not allowed to post. We don't know why. We're not allowed to post. No one at TikTok can give us an answer. They say that the account is not banned. There's no problems there. But every time we post, there's an issue. So you can still see our stuff there. It's a bit old now, but you can comment, you can follow, you can stay abreast, and I'm sure we'll get it going again soon. Anyway, moving on today's show, a little Easter themed, and it's sort of past now, but just a little Easter themed question we put out to the Babs community yesterday. Who is Arsenal's biggest Judas? We have Jesus, lol, but who's Arsenal's biggest Judas? We want to know. If you got an idea, stick something in the chat. Let us know. Also, were the cups worth it? Before everyone starts getting mad, were they worth it? What did we gain from them? What did we learn from them? How is it? Is there any positives we can take from losing a final and getting knocked out to lower opposition? Integrating Max Dowman. That's also coming up on show. He's obviously having a good effect on the team. It's valuable. There's something there. We have to use it. But how do we do it? He's only 16. And of course, we will be looking ahead to another game. We're getting back on the saddle tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're back on the saddle. We're playing Sporting in the Champions League, a real cup, a real down and dirty, beautiful cup. We are previewing that. And most importantly, you guys, big ass opinions. We got your big ass opinions coming up. Should round up yesterday's football action. West Ham went out of the cup to Leeds United in the FA Cup. Okay, let's go. So, starting with, were the cups worth it? Let's just have a little bit of a review. Were they worth it? What did we learn? I thought these cup runs might deserve just a tiny little review. Tiny little review. What I mean by that is, were they a complete waste of time? Are we glad we got to where we did? What value do we have in it? Now, the waste of time argument really is, did we run our luck too far? This is the argument, right? The waste of time argument. It's possible we've lost Big Gabby for a little while. We don't know yet. No one knows anything yet. It could be just minor. He had ice on his knee in the Southampton game. It looked a bit worrying. And really, effectively, you would say getting knocked out earlier might have prevented those sorts of injuries as we go deeper into the running. That is the waste of time argument, right? If you're not going to win it, what's the point in being in them? But the valuable minutes argument, the counteract to that, on the flip side, you could say we needed those games. I thought they were a big part, some of those games, getting Eze back into pretty much electric form. You think of the Mansfield game, how that transmitted around Leverkusen, the other parts of involvement he had in Wigan, that sort of stuff. Keeping those, what were either fringe players or players that should be in the starting 11, keeping them fresh, keeping them involved, getting them to build some connections within the team, regardless if we didn't win these cups. It was valuable for that. That's the sort of counter argument. You could also say that integrating Max Dowman, which we'll come to later, was a part of the good use of those cup runs. So, on the whole, those in the chat, we're going to say hello to you in a moment. Those in the chat, what are we thinking? Were the cups a complete waste of time? Did they have some value? Would you rather we gone out early, or would you? Obviously, the ultimate answer is I'd have preferred we bloody won them, Eddie. Yes, of course. But if you're going to go out early, or use them to integrate other players or get those connections going, which we didn't have against Southampton. That's just a little review of the cups. What do we think? Get in the chat. Melitensis is here. Melitensis, I'm so glad you're here. Good morning to you. It's gone in early. For me, biggest Judas is Van Persie, although Adebayor is close. And yes, if we win the league, the loss in the cups will be forgotten. Yes, Melitensis, I have something very special for you this morning. What do you make of this? Now, for those of you that don't understand, Melitensis is in Malta. Melitensis is in Malta, and I went looking for traditional Maltese music. And whilst that was playing, Melitensis was either sat there going, "Oh, yeah, I know, this is quite cute. Yeah, isn't that sweet?" Or sat there going, "This is horrendous. Is this what you think of my country?" No, I just wanted to try, a little bit of welcoming music for you, Melitensis, because you've been so good to us. What did you make of that? Melitensis put, "Thanks," with a smiley face. I might be annoyed, I don't know. Anyway, welcome, Melitensis. Thank you for joining us. You are always welcome. Your biggest Judas is Van Persie. You might have the deciding vote. Because I have to say, last time I looked at the poll, it's pretty split. It's very, very split. Yes, if we win the league, the cups, we're not going to worry about them, are we? Let's be honest. We're not going to worry about them. Right, let's move on to the sporting. I've got a slide up a little bit too early there, as I always do. Right, so Sporting Lisbon. Going along nicely in the Liga Portugal. We will preview a little bit of injury news tomorrow with Sporting. We will preview, obviously, Arsenal's injury news. The presser, I think Mikel's presser is today. I'd assume it's today. The game's tomorrow, so I don't know. I would assume it's today. We'll preview all that tomorrow. Obviously, we don't have that information. But looking ahead to Sporting, what do we know about them so far? They're sitting second in their league. They are 5 points off the top, battling out with Porto, with Benfica just behind them, and Braga down in fourth. That's standard for their league. That is pretty much the way it goes every year. They're 5 points behind with a game in hand on Porto. Their last 5 league games, they have won 4 of 5, drawing 1 in the middle. But most importantly, the Champions League, they finished 7th. Above City, above Real Madrid, above Inter, above PSG, above Newcastle. They were no mugs. They were no mugs in this competition. The games that they played, they beat, I'll run through these quickly. So they beat Kairat 4-1. They lost at Napoli away. They beat Marseille 2-1 at home. They drew with Juve away. They beat Club Brugge, who they weren't terrible, Club Brugge. They beat them 3-0 at home. They lost away to Bayern Munich 3-1. Then they beat Paris Saint-Germain 2-1 at home. And then, of course, they beat Atletico Bilbao 3-2 at home. So, yeah, then off in the next round, the round of, what was it, not 16, whatever the round is called, the next round, the knockout stages, they obviously lost quite heavily to Bodo Glimt away 3-0. But very famously, if you recall, turned that one around by smashing them 5-0 at home to end the dreams of Bodo and Glimt. So, Sporting, they are not mugs. It's not going to be an easy game. I mean, we'd love it to be an easy game, wouldn't we? We would love it to be an easy game. It doesn't look like it's going to be. A little bit of preview then. Right, let's move on to the Max integration. So, Max Dowman, I think we'll agree. Melitensis, jump in the chat. Give me your opinion. Max Dowman, I think we will agree. He's too good not to play at this critical time. Let's be honest. He is showing things that other players aren't showing, that are way older than him, way more experienced than him. And yes, it might be the exuberance of youth. He might not be ground down by football yet, but he's got so much about him. It would be malpractice not to use him in this running, considering that we are struggling to get some sort of attacking flow going. So he is definitely too good not to play. He beats players, he progresses the ball, he draws fouls, he takes shots, he gets everything ticking. But he's only 16 years old and he needs protection. And my worry about this is that it goes the way of Jack Wilshere. I don't think that Arteta would be silly to overplay him like Wenger did with Jack Wilshere, depend on him. But he is 16 years old. He could have more minutes by the age of 20 than most players do when they're 25. So we've got to run that carefully. What do you think? How do we get involved for this season? For instance, I put it to the chat. Good morning, Lloyd. Lloyd is here. Lloyd has jumped in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Lloyd. Good to see you again. He says, Gyökeres, he needs to go crazy against his old team, referring to Sporting. Yes, he does. I think he'd be motivated for that, right? I think he'd be motivated for that. If Gyökeres bags a couple in, or even one, away at Sporting, and it has a positive impact on that result, I think people are going to start to forgive Gyökeres as we move into this run-in. But back to the Max Dowman thing. Lloyd, Melitensis, what do you think? How do we integrate him? For instance, are you starting him tomorrow night? Seems to me like a game in the Champions League. Players aren't going to be ready for him. Fouls get given so easily in the Champions League. They will, every time they touch him, there will be a foul given. We will get loads of set pieces out of that boy. Lloyd's jumped and said, I say move him centrally with Odegaard, with Rice as DM, Saliba dropping midfield. Ooh. Militensis says, yes, I agree with you about Dowman. At least he showed he's playing for the badge on his chest. Yes, I'll start him. Start him over Saka? Are we saying start him over Saka? Saka's in really poor form, isn't he? But who knows, this rest might have done him well. I think one thing that we are fairly certain on, it's got to be Saka and Dowman rather than Saka and Noni, right? And I don't even think Noni's played that bad. But then I'm with Lloyd. If you move him central, if Odegaard's not cutting, maybe we can move him central. And then Noni continues to be that backup for Saka. I just worry. The reason why I put this in the show, guys, I'm worried about it. It worries me. He's 16. I don't want to blow this kid up before he's like 21. Right. Let's have a look at our predicted 11 for tomorrow night. And you guys get yours in as well, who you would like to see. This is the Big Arsenal Breakfast Show, predicted 11. This is not what we think Arteta's going to pick. This is what we would like to see. And funnily enough, I don't think it would be too dissimilar to what Arteta is going to pick on this occasion. Normally go a bit wild with this, but for the Champions League, we have gone with Raya in goal, obviously. If Timber's back and fit, Timber on the right, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori on the left. Calafiori on the left, I think he gets us moving going forward. He is the chaos engine. We all talk about this. Hincapié is brilliant. We love him. He's been an excellent buy. But Calafiori just creates a little bit of chaos, a little bit of uncertainty. He gets forward. He pops up in spaces that you wouldn't expect a left back to be. And he's creative. That's what I'd go with that, if he's fit. Rice and Zubimendi in the midfield, if they're fit. Saka on the right, if he's fit. Odegaard, if he can do it in the middle. Martinelli. Now, a lot of people probably say Trossard. I would like to see Nelly in this. I think there's a lot of space to be exploited against Sporting. They will come on to us. They're playing at home. They like to attack. They will come on to us. I think there's going to be green grass for him to move into. And then Gyökeres up front. Gyökeres up front. Dowman off the bench. Havertz will have a part to play. Don't think there's a resurrection for Jesus, to be honest with you. Yeah. Who said he needs space to move? Lloyd said that he needs space to move. There's no room on the wing. I think he's referring to Dowman. You have to forgive me. I'm a little bit behind on the stream here. He needs space to move. There's no room on the wing. I assume we are talking about Dowman. Essential Max, there we go. Essential Max gives him room to move and influence the game even more. Erdegaard keeping the ball moving. Max will find Gyökeres all day long. I agree. I think it's worth it. I wouldn't have a problem seeing Max in central. He's that good. Those feet. Ping, 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 ping. That good. Okay. Moving on. Your big ass opinions. Keep them coming, boys and girls in chat. Apart from the two penalties you gave away, I thought that stuff was
way too dry.
Well. Starting with big ass opinions, big ass opinion poll. The ultimate Judas. So we put this out. It was just an Easter special, to be honest. It was an Easter special. We put this out yesterday, 24 hours ago or so, asking you who you think the biggest Judas of all time is. Now, there was quite a long list, but funnily enough, the ones of most recent years were the ones that made the list. And Van Persie was on there for obvious reasons. Adebayor was on there for obvious reasons. Ashley Cole was on there for obvious reasons. And Cesc made it as well. Right. Let us reveal the results of the poll. Ba-ding! It was a joint split decision between Adebayor and Van Persie at 40% each, with Cole and Cesc making 10% each. Lloyd has said every player that moved to City for the money, but then Melatensis earlier said Van Persie. So we're split again, guys. You guys would have had the deciding vote, which means unless anyone else wants to get in the chat and offer the decider, we're going to end this here and now. I suppose I could be the decider, but I don't want to really do that. That's a bit egotistical. No, I think we're just going to have to go with the poll results. The people have spoken. It's Adebayor or Van Persie. I think what is interesting, I would like to know from you in the chat, what do you think of Ashley Cole now? I don't know if you saw those interviews of recent years where he's really lamenting what happened at Arsenal, and has come to fruition that we basically effed up that deal. We effed up that deal with Ashley Cole because we'd offered him a certain wage. He said yes to it. And then later we reneged on that deal and it pissed him off. And he talks about this on the Overlap and many other interviews. You go and check it out. To the point where I actually start thinking, do you know what? Actually, it's probably a bit harsh. And we messed up. And for me, the selling of Ashley Cole was the big watershed turning moment and Arsenal's downfall from the very top to being outmuscled by Chelsea and their billions of pounds. I think if we'd kept hold of him, we would have done a hell of a lot better. Hell of a lot better. But there you go. Arsenal's biggest Judas, Adebayor or Van Persie. Do you know what? We'll rerun it next year. See if you've changed your minds. Right. Big ass opinions time. So a lot of you on Instagram and YouTube, they were talking about, I put out a thing yesterday. It was just, I was just messing around. Just saying, I blame the Arsenal fans. You're all too nervous. And then did a joke of me at the end being nervous about it, right? But it's had some responses. Sam Hankim90 says, no one is nervous. We have a level of expectation that is standard with challenging for the title. We specifically increased the squad depth to ensure that we challenged on every front. These are Arteta signings. Say what you want, but the Prem isn't enough this season. Everyone's been below average. And we should have capitalised properly. So Sam thinks that the Premier League is not enough if we win it this season. Premier League is not enough if we win it this season. I've seen this all over social media. And respectfully, Sam, thank you for getting involved, which I did say I did respond and thank you for getting involved. I find that mad. What do you reckon? I think the Premier League would be more than enough considering we haven't won it in 22 years. And I get it. Complementing the Premier League with one of those other trophies, an FA Cup, of which we've won it the most amount of times. We've seen loads of them in our lifetimes. And the League Cup, which, let's face it, it's the League Cup. It's nice, but complementing a league title, yeah, why not? But the league title is everything. The league title is absolutely everything. What do you think in the chat? Okay, Lloyd Kambula says, RVP was the worst for me. What kills it for me is when he went on to pretend like he was a Man United fan. Okay, RVP is the biggest Judas. There we go. There we have it. We have decided it. Thank you, Lloyd and Melatensis, for saying that. Thank you very, very much. RVP was the biggest Judas. Confirmed. Confirmed RVP was the biggest Judas. Okay, more than your biggest opinions from yesterday. Sin the Moment says, totally agree. The fan base is adding more pressure on the players. It's embarrassing. I think he might have missed the gag. But anyway, I did say many a true word said in jest. He went on to say, I really do think the fact that the fan base is pretty pressuring is adding 10% more pressure or 10 times more pressure for the players. And it's become a vicious cycle. What do we think about that? I mean, generally, I'm not really in the habit of blaming fans. I'm not really in the habit of blaming fans for Arsenal performances, but how much of that do we think transmit, certainly in the stadium, if a stadium gets a bit edgy, and I understand why. We've all been there. I understand why a stadium gets edgy when things aren't quite going our way. I get that. But the online world, how much does that add into this kind of, because players do go online, they're probably told not to, but I bet they do. I wonder how much that does actually affect them or gets them. And we are nervous. We are nervous. And Lloyd said, we haven't won EPL in 22 years. What are fans talking about? We win this, the biggest thing for our great club. Yeah, I agree, Lloyd. I agree. And here we go. Aussie Ange. Hi, sir. Julian from AFTV said it's only a £2 million cup. So what? Aussie Ange, thank you for joining us. A newbie to the chat. I really appreciate you joining us. Aussie Ange says, hi, sir. Julian from AFTV said it's only a £2 million cup. So what? Which cup are you talking about? FA Cup? Who is Julian? And forgive me, this is not a slant on AFTV. I generally don't watch AFTV. I wouldn't know. I know Robbie is. He seems like a nice guy. He seems like a really nice guy. I see him about, but I don't know who Julian is. And if it's a £2 million cup, the FA Cup, so what? Is that what? Are you saying that there wasn't enough value in it? There wasn't enough value in the FA Cup for us to win it? It was only worth £2 million prize money? I mean, the one for the League Cup is like £100,000, isn't it? The League Cup prize money is not even like a quarter of one of our players' wages for a week. Or a third. 50% probably, the average. That's his comment about the FA Cup. Thank you for clarifying, Aussie Ange. Well, Julian at AFTV said it's only a £2 million cup, so what? Well, but we don't do it for the money, do we? Let's face it, the Champions League money is amazing, but if it was 10% of what it was, which Arsenal fans give a shit about the money? I find it funny that their League Cup is only about 100k to win it because of all the money it probably generates. I mean, that is quite ridiculous. But with the FA Cup, I wouldn't care that it was £2 million, £5 million, £20 million. Is that what we play for? Is that the value? I guess so. I guess there probably are some clubs. I think I know what this relates to. Sorry, Ange. Aussie Ange, I'm a bit slow up in the uptake this morning. I suppose that I think I read somewhere, I could be wrong about this, so don't quote me, this is off the top of my noggins. I read somewhere that depending on where you finish in the Premier League, it can be about £2.3 million per place. £2.3 million per place is what the sort of prize money you get, depending on where you go. So with each level up, it's about £2.3 million. I could have that stat wrong, please. I don't have it in front of me now because we're just freestyling here, right, Ange? So that's what I read. Now, if that's the case, you would not chastise mid-table teams or lower clubs ditching FA Cup if it was prize money dependent. If they've got themselves a business model and they're looking at the Premier League and going, look, we can finish 14th or we can push for 10th, it's only about 3-point swing or something, and it gets us an extra £6 million, then I would understand why people might want to ditch the FA Cup. I'm not saying I agree with it, but from a financial perspective, it makes sense. I don't agree with it. Lloyd says, players go on socials, they see the dumb things we say about them. The impact is there. We just don't see it as fans. Yeah, I agree. I bet they do. He also wanted to say, Lloyd said, it's not about money. Glory, glory, glory. If you've played any sport, winning is the end goal. As a former rugby player, winning a trophy is the end goal. Used to play rugby, Lloyd. Awesome. Do you know, funnily enough, rugby was the only sport I was good at school, and I really didn't enjoy it. I don't know why. I was terrible at everything else. I was pretty good at the rugby, but I didn't enjoy it. And then Aussie Ange, jumps in and says, Arsenal was built on the FA Cup. How dare anyone disrespect it? And no Arsenal fan should pick and choose which trophies to win. There's only 4 available each year if you don't win in Europe to get Super. I mean the Super Cup. The picking and choosing thing, Ange, thank you. I appreciate your comment. It's not picking and choosing for me anyway. My opinion, and it's just my opinion. My opinion is based on the worry of obtaining more and more injuries as we go through that competition. I want to win the FA Cup. Let's be very clear about that. I've loved those days out. Some of my most cherished memories are FA Cup winning days, like generally from a young boy right up to being a slightly older boy now. And I'm not saying that I pick and choose them. I'm just saying that for me, going out to Southampton the other day, the upside, the silver lining in the cloud is 2 less games to get injured, less of a fixture pile up. We already saw Big Gabby with ice on his knee during the Southampton game. And I just think for this season at least, because we've had 3 seasons of finishing second, for me, going out that cup was not the worst feeling I've ever had. Oh, here we go. I do think Arsenal will throw the league away. I'm not just saying it because I support Spurs. Arteta isn't that guy to win your club anything. Well, Aussie Ange, I appreciate you revealing your true colours there. I mean, we had the suspicion. It was in the name, Aussie Ange. I don't think Arteta is that guy. We'll see. Watch the space, Aussie Ange. Watch this space. We shall see. Right. Moving on to some more opinions. Thank you for getting in touch, Aussie Ange, and keeping it respectful. You're a Spurs fan. You're keeping it respectful. I like this. Blimey. So there was a guy who I had a little discourse with this morning. Only found this morning. George. I got to lean in. Holton said, he said, let's think. Who is really scoring against Sporting? Saka has been pretty miserable, so I'm going for him. Trossard is 100% scoring. 1 corner, Gabriel scores. If not injured, and Jesus will come out of nowhere and score a lovely goal. 4-0, no messing about. It always happens. We are not losing or drawing because we just won't. We haven't lost 3 games in a row for a while. Oh, George, tempting fate there. He also said, he went on to say, believe and then give up. If we make 3 mistakes in 30 minutes, then confidence would be evaporated. Same as the final and Southampton game. Making constant mistakes just destroys the match, and after scoring feels impossible. He also said, and the second leg will be a 0-0. Boring cup draw, and Raya will make 2 last-minute insane saves. So let me just summarize these predictions there. He thinks Saka is scoring. Awesome. Trossard is scoring. Gabriel scores from a corner. Gabriel Jesus comes off the bench to make it 4-0, and then the second leg it would be 0-0, and Ryan makes some astounding saves to keep us in the tie. George, you've mapped that out. You have mapped that out, my friend. If those predictions come real, I'm coming to you for some betting tips. Actually, I never bet. I don't really like it, but there we go. He also just wanted to say, George said that he thought that he said not a Judas, but Sanchez ruined his career by going to United. Yeah, there we are. Moving on quickly. So I went around the Twitterverse as ever, got some Arsenal big accounts on the Twitterverse, got some opinions looking at what they've been saying. Chief at Ali Adier said, we would have had to go to the Etihad, then play Newcastle 2 days later, and then play City at Wembley again 3 days later. Mikel, you are a genius. Obviously, he's saying that tongue in cheek. We want to go for them all. We want to win them all. But there is a thing there, as I said, with the fixture pile-up with another City game, people will say, oh, you're just afraid of playing City again. You're afraid of playing City. You're scared. No, it's not scared. I don't give a fuck. I don't even have a problem with this losing to City in the FA Cup. Like, I'm really not that bothered by it. What I'm mostly bothered by is injuries. Where have we seen this before? The running, the injuries, we collapse. People say it's bottling. There might be a mentality thing with that. We are bottling it. It's also at the end of the year when everyone's knackered and it all falls apart. Just an idea. Just an idea. And then Gooner Views said, if we win nothing this season, Arteta has to go. To which I then scrolled down 10 seconds later and saw this from at EBL 2007 saying, Mikel Arteta is going down in football folklore, whether you like it or not. Time will reveal all. It always does. Conflicting opinions there. Some think that if Arteta doesn't win anything this season, he should be sacked. Others believe that he will, and he's going to create an era. I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. Last one of this particular section, and we'll jump back in the chat. I promise you. Let's have some instant karma.
Instant karma take of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, the instant karma take of the day comes from. Oh, I've just turned off. No, where is it? There it is. Sorry, Barney Ronay at the Guardian. This is a really great article. Put your teeth in, Eddie. This is a really great article if you are an Arsenal fan. Ange in the chat, you probably won't want to read this. Ange in the chat probably won't want to read this. He says, Barney Ronay, they'll be fine. No one has to be. He said, Arsenal, they'll be fine. No one has to be a fraud or a bottler here. And the tension is interesting. Now, this is genuinely a really, really, really good read. If I remember to do it, I'll put the link in the show description. I can assure you this one's well worth it, and it's free. It's got some great stuff in there, and I won't quote this verbatim because that's a little bit unfair of Barney Ronay, but I will promise you, of all the articles I've read, and there's been a lot in the last 2, 3, 4 months, this has got to be one of the soundest I think I've ever read. Pretty good common sense from Barney Ronay, and that's why it is the instant karma take of the day. We may well be fine. No one's a fraud. No one's a bottler for losing an FA Cup match. If we don't win the league, then maybe we can have that bottle chat. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's have some final thoughts then before we get out of here. Aussie Ange, the Spurs fan, says he does think Arsenal will throw the league. I'm not just saying this because I support Spurs. I've already read that one. One trophy in 24 trophy. Yeah, Ange, I mean, you could say the same about Tottenham. I do think you'll beat Sporting Lisbon on penalties and beat Bournemouth. Oh, now you're talking my language, Aussie Ange. You're talking my language. I'll take a win against Bournemouth. I will preface this in the week once we've got past this. But quite frankly, when we get past Sporting, I generally think 2 games wins us the league. And I think if we beat Bournemouth and we beat City, then it's over. It really, really is over. Lloyd, I will end on you, my friend, before we get out of here. Lloyd has said, I've said this the whole season, Arteta has built this team to win the EPL, win, lose or draw. At City means nothing to us as long as we win against Bournemouth. Come on, people, let's grow this channel. Like, share, tell the world. Yes, Lloyd. High five, fist bump. I don't know if you're a hugging guy or just like a shoulder bump guy. Let's do that. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And I do appreciate those who do come in. It's going to be a bit of a challenge as we go forward. I'm not sure if you're aware, guys, in the chat, if you're new to the channel, most days we are live at 7 a.m. So weekdays, 7 a.m. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Why do we do that? Because Eddie has another job. Yes, unfortunately, this is not my full-time thing. One day, hopefully it will be. But right now, we've only just started, it's not. So, and also, we do it because we like to get the podcast out into people's ears. We have the podcast as well. So we record the show at 7:30. We upload the podcast around 7:45. And then we'll chat in throughout the day and whatever. And get your comments in and your likes and all the lizzle and subscrizzle. Lizzle and subscribe, that helps. But you can contact us at Big Ass Breakfast on TikTok, Big Ass Breakfast on Insta, at Big Ass Brecky on X. Show at bigarsenalbreakfast.com. Show at bigarsenalbreakfast.com. Why is it so hard to read an email address? Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So tomorrow we're back at 7 a.m. Tuesday to Friday this week it'll be 7 a.m. And normally when it's not a bank holiday like it is here in the UK, we are starting at 7 a.m. Weekends is always 9 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Hopefully that's clear. The production team will be like, we really need to think how we advertise this, guys. Production team. Let's have Lloyd. And Lloyd says, don't worry, we'll retire you from the 9 to 5 soon. Lloyd, please. Please. You have no idea. I've worked too long in offices. It's so confining. Those neon lights, those Teams meetings, spreadsheets. If I see another spreadsheet in my life, it'll be too soon. No, it's good. Look, I've no complaints, but this has been brilliant. Whatever happens with this, I'll be honest with you, whatever happens with this, I just like talking Arsenal. I like talking Arsenal with you guys. And I really appreciate you showing up, turning out, getting involved. It's really, really cool. So I will say thank you to Lloyd. A huge thank you to Lloyd. A huge thank you to Militensis who are here on the regular. Aussie Ange, okay, he got some barbs in, but a Spurs fan joining us this morning. By and large, Aussie Ange. Nice one for keeping it polite. Polite discourse is always welcome. I don't care if the rival fans are here. That's absolutely fine as long as you're not calling each other a bunch of so-and-sos. But I think we'll leave it there today. We will tomorrow. I think so. Arteta's presser will be today, I assume. I haven't even checked. It must be today. We'll get it in for tomorrow. We'll go over that. We'll have a deeper dive at who's available. Obviously, we'll have some injury news. We'll have Arteta's predicted 11. Another thing we like to do, which I'm not getting that much back at the moment, I'll be honest about that. This is the feature that's not taken off so much. I've got the same 3 people emailing me every time for our big ass team talks. Big ass team talks. I thought this would be something that people might enjoy. It might just be because we're in our infancy, but I've only got the same 3 people emailing me every week, and they always make the show, which is fine. The big ass team talk is basically, what would you say? What would you say to the team if you were given the chance? So we got the sporting game. Picture this in your head, because this is what I do. I have these imaginary team talks, right? You know when you see Arteta going, these are the fucking standards, or he's got the light bulb thing or whatever. What is your version of that? Are you the sort of manager like, you fucking get into them, smash them early, get a ball in the mixer, and all that sort of stuff? Or are you a calm, mild mannered, like, well, actually, if we played a central pivot on this, whatever it is, let us know. We'll read them out on the show. Otherwise, maybe we ditch that feature going forward. But so far, there's been some funny ones. So game day, we always do big ass team talks. We only do about 3 of them, right? We choose 3, and it's normally the same 3 people every week. So if you want to submit a team talk, do it. We'll read it out on the air. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for today. Thank you for joining us. So tomorrow, Mikel's presser, looking ahead to Sporting in Depth, your big ass opinions, anything else that happens in the Arsenal news space overnight, which it always does. We will be back here tomorrow, Tuesday, 7 a.m. Join us if you can. If not, the podcast is up later, and you can always rewatch on YouTube. Get involved in the comments, and thank you so much, Lloyd. Thank you, Militensis. Thank you, Aussie Ange, and get your arse in gear.